Hi everyone, I have made a quick little video to help you get through the Global Foods Project that is part of the grade 3 packet for phase 2. So this is a little bit different. We didn't have a project in the first packet. This packet we do. So this is a little step by step on the whole project to kind of help you get a little through it. So this is on global foods, so foods from all around the world. And our essential question, which is our main goal, what are we trying to learn the most? We want to know, how do the foods we eat, and where they are grown connect us with people around the world. So the food that we eat and the food that we eat, where are they grown? Why does that matter to us? How do we connect with people around the world based on the food that we eat? Hmm. Well, first part of the project is to think about, what do we already know? What do we already know about global foods? A lot of us probably eat global foods at home and you don't even realize it. So, the first part of your packet has these resources to help you figure out, what do we already know. Okay, so the first thing that they give you to kind of help you navigate are these definitions, and they look just like this. I'll bring this up a little bit. And these definitions are different words that are going to help you with the different sources that they give you and help you really think and activate that background knowledge about global foods and how we're connected to those global foods. So some of these words are, crop, cuisine, culture, which we talk about so much, distribution, export. We talked about export and import a lot when we read the story Supermarket. Let's see what else we have here. We have refrigerated. That was another word that we talked a lot when we read Supermarket. Spoil and traditional. So all of these words here have a photo to go with it, and they have a definition. So this is a great resource to always keep on the side, just in case you may come across a word that you might not recognize. Double check to see if it's on this packet, okay? And it'll help. So the first couple of pages of your Global Food Project packet are all kind of pages that look like this, right? And it's asking, there's a problem that there's so many different people from different cultures that move to the United States from all over the world. And as people move around, they bring their culture with them. And this includes their favorite foods and dishes. Grocery stores and restaurants want to provide these foods for people to enjoy. And foods are imported from around the world, sometimes over long distances. Refrigerated containers bring fresh fruits and vegetables that cannot be grown in the United States. Therefore, the United States exports food crops to other countries. Here is where the problem comes. How does this food distribution system keep everyone connected? And how do our favorite foods connect people? So, that is just a little brief paragraph to help you understand this essential question a little bit. And then it's going to go right into, you're going to be explaining why different crops grow in different parts of the world, how foods affect traditional cuisines. You want to talk about different people's food preferences, and then talk about the advantages and problems of sharing food from around the world. So right now is a perfect example of this, right? We're all at home, we're all quarantined. We might not be able to go get those ingredients in those different type of cuisines that we might be accustomed to, because we're not being able to import and export different foods that we might enjoy. So maybe we might be losing a little bit of a connection to some of those foods that we typically would enjoy. but it's an opportunity to learn about other foods. So maybe I can't get my favorite Portuguese rolls from the bakery, but maybe I'll try a different type of French bread that I can get in the grocery store instead. So therefore, I am connecting with different foods from around the world. Before you start your project, you also want to do one of these, and we do these a lot in school. These KWLS charts. What do we know? What do we want to know? What did I learn? And what do I still want to know? So you don't need any research for this. This is just tell me what's in your brain. Get it out on the paper because sometimes we forget. We forget what's already up there, and we've actually learned so much about global foods already that this project should be a breeze. All right. All right, and then the last thing it talks to you about is your sources. Okay, your sources. So we don't, in my classroom, we don't use this word too much, but this sources is just a word for different kinds of texts. So that brings us right to number 2. Our next step of our project is really let's do some more research. All right, so here we go. Thankfully, lucky you guys, in this packet, they have given you tons of resources. So your first source that they give you is this book, right? Foods Around the World. And it's a book. And it's all about different kinds of foods. And we know that this is a nonfiction text because as soon as you open it up, oh, excuse me. That's so sticky. As soon as you open it up, you have a table of contents. You also have a glossary in the back. Boom, glossary. There are different types of photographs with text features. We have a map. So right away, I'm looking at this. Oh, I see a caption. I see a flow chart. I'm looking at this, and right away, I know this is nonfiction. So I know that this is probably a credible source, okay? So this is your first resource. So this is where you're going to be doing research. You're going to be reading books like these and all these other sources to kind of help you understand how the foods that we eat and where they're grown connect us with people from around the world. So that's one. Second resource. Boom. This is a flow chart. Okay, a flow chart. We do these, you see these a lot in science, right? It's going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a different kind of source. This is the second source that they give you. Where bananas from jungle to table. Your third source is an article. Whew, we do articles all the time. We know all about articles. We know they have titles. We know they have headings, subheadings. They have photographs and captions. We know articles, right? Article, comfort foods. Which foods remind you of home? I can think of a few comfort foods right away. Here we go. 2 pages on comfort foods. Okay, some of my favorite comfort foods. My grandma, my vavá, she used to make this like chicken and rice soup. In Portuguese, we call it canja. And now my mom makes it, and every time I'm not feeling good, my mom knows she makes me a nice bowl of canja, and it's like a comfort food. Like I know I'm gonna feel better because whenever I have a bowl of canja, I think about my grandmother, my vavá, and I'm automatically feeling better. All right, source number 4, boom, a poster. Famous food cities around the world. This is going to be a huge resource, okay? Because what are you doing? You want to know how you are connecting with people from around the world. Well, boom, here's a great poster to help you with those connections. Source number 5, a map. We did a lot about maps in social studies when we talked about the Wampanoags and the Pilgrims. So we've talked a lot about maps. This is just where different crops come. So maybe you might notice that you might love some of these crops that come from all around the world that you wouldn't even know. Like, how many people knew that most of our watermelons come from Africa? I didn't know that. I love watermelon. So right away, I just made a connection. Source number 6, we have an editorial. which we don't. Some of us that are in newspaper group, you have talked about editorials a little bit. It's similar to an article, so you'll see similar text features. And then our last resource is another map, imports and exports, which we talked a lot about when we did supermarket. So this information should be a little bit more familiar to you than some other things. All right, so that's your research. So highlight, take notes, jot things down, underline important information that you find in those sources. Really, you're just kind of absorbing. You're just learning, okay? And as you learn things, you can go back to your KWL chart and you can kind of jot some things down that you've learned. All right, and then step 3, after you've done that, is really to create your project. And this is kind of cool because I'm not telling you what to do. You can do whatever you want. So some of the project choices you can do is you can write an essay, you can make a game, you could create a menu, create a cartoon, a newspaper article, you could create a skit, design a poster, a brochure, you could make a book, that's cool, with pictures and, captions and all that stuff. So you get to choose your project. Pretty sweet. We've done a brochure before when we did our Fall River project, so you already know how to do one of those. We've done a PowerPoint before when we did our project on Native Americans, so you're familiar with using your Google Slides. You can use it through your Google Classroom. You can also make a poster. We've done that too when we did our state symbols project. So there are a lot of these type of projects we've done before in class, so you know how to do it, right? The newspaper article, if you're in the newspaper club, you've written a newspaper article before, so that shouldn't be anything that you haven't done. So that's really it. And then once you get down to number 3, you just create your project. And you should, take your time and really work on that. And then if you look at this paper right here, oops, my bad. Right here, your daily lesson work plan. This is going to kind of tell you step by step what you should be doing. So like by week 1, you should be, here. By week 2, you should be here. By week 3, you should be here. Right? Taking your time and really going through the process. Now, if you need anything, reach out, okay? You can find me on Remind. You can find me on Google Classroom. You can find me in the comments right here on this YouTube page. You can send me an email. Most of your parents have my Google Voice number, so you can reach out on there. Whatever you need, we are here for you if you need anything at all. Okay? See you guys soon.